New updates this morning on Mayor Rudy Giuliani. The 9/11 era New York City mayor remains hospitalized in critical but stable condition, battling a serious case of pneumonia. We're told Rudy was put on a ventilator to help him breathe, but now he is breathing on his own. His spokesperson, Ted Goodman, released this statement. Mayor Rudy Giuliani is recovering from pneumonia, he says, going on to say on September 11th, Mayor Giuliani ran toward the towers to help those in need, which later led to a diagnosis of restrictive airway disease. This condition adds complications to any respiratory illness, and the virus quickly overwhelmed his body, requiring mechanical ventilation to maintain adequate oxygen and stabilize his condition. He is now breathing on his own with his family and primary medical provider at his side. He goes on to say Mayor Giuliani is the ultimate fighter, as he has demonstrated throughout his life, and he is winning this battle. His family deeply appreciates the outpouring of love and support. The mayor believes in the power of prayer, and we are feeling that strength today. He remains in critical but stable condition. Please keep the prayers coming. And we are so many prayers this morning for Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Thank you so much for joining us today. On this Tuesday, I'm Vanessa Broussard. Good to have you here with us. Mike Lindell, as you know, he is shaking up the political landscape in Minnesota. A lot going on there. All eyes are on the governor's race. Let's bring in his campaign manager, Rick Weibel, with us this morning to talk about everything going on in Minnesota. Rick, good to have you on here today. Good to see you. I know you are team no sleep, you and Mike Lindell, covering the state from north to south, east to west, hitting the battleground areas. Give us an update. I know Mike is getting ready for the Minnesota State Convention. What can you tell us?
Oh, there's a lot of great things happening with the state convention, and there's some barriers in the state convention that we'll talk about today as well. We will, however, be releasing some of the ads that we'll be doing for the state convention this week. So look for social media posts on that. I think the audience will be inspired by the video that we have created, and also with CPAC's endorsement of the great Mike Lindell. That is going to also uh, pursue additional positivity towards the campaign as well. And thank God for CPAC and the values that they strive. And thank God for Mike being a longtime member of CPAC and a driver of some of the CPAC values. And so, with that alignment of conservative politics in the United States, but bringing it back to Minnesota in a Christ like fashion is so badly needed. I want to take a quick little divergence here with a post that I shared with you earlier this morning from Facebook that Alpha News had shared. This is what is actually happening in one of the state office buildings where the Democrat legislators have uh, the top level of this building, and here they are, basically uh, demeaning ICE. And so, this type of language that we see from the Democrat legislators on the top floor of this building is absolutely unacceptable. And in the lower buildings, there's office staff and Republicans that you see the windows are clear. So when we have this type of messaging coming from the Democrat Party in Minnesota and across the country, and we've heard of some of the language of Governor Walz, and we can kind of see this dystopian nature that the Democrat Party is presenting. And this is where Mike presents the perfect contrast of positivity, his faith, and also the can do attitude of resolving and fixing, stopping, preventing the fraud that has been in the news in Minnesota. And it continues to get worse and worse uh, of the investigations that are out there. And unfortunately, or fortunately for our campaign, but unfortunately for Minnesota, one of the folks that was running in the governor's race, Kristen Robbins, who is the chair of the fraud committee, has ended her campaign for governor. And I had a great conversation with her last week to confirm what news reports had out there, that she was walking away from politics. And so this is unfortunate that Minnesota loses such a good warrior in the battle for honesty and good governance. And so she is not rerunning for her House seat, and she is not taking on the banner to run for the Senate. However, because of the pain of her exit of the campaign, I want to make sure that everybody gives her grace, and we want to keep the door open because somebody that smart and valuable in Minnesota politics, I think there is always a future for somebody of her caliber. And the way that she conducted herself in front of the United States Congress and Senate in presenting the facts from her committee and the things that were there, I think are instructive. And there was also some additional questions that I had with her over the phone about were there other issues that were brought forward that aren't in the public realm. And let's just say her heart is completely broken in the amount of fraud that the Walz administration and the Democrats within the legislature continue to cover up. And what's laughable is now candidate Amy Klobuchar has presented this fraud fix plan. And what's interesting is that she's a current US Senator and she's not presenting these plans from the federal level to basically try to address some of the fraud because some of the dollars are from the federal side. But then now it's too late that even the Democrats within the legislature in Minnesota aren't even willing to take up some of the ideas from the Republicans or other Democrats to actually fix it. And what's incredible, yesterday, one of the commissioners was supposed to testify in front of the Minnesota legislature. Walz basically removes that person so that way they wouldn't have to testify in one of the committees in the legislature. And so there's still no accountability. And I'm actually gravely concerned that Speaker Lisa DeMuth, who's also running for governor, she may end up with a failed administration and leadership to where she is unable to navigate accountability and reconciliation regarding all of the fraud that has happened in Minnesota. And so this is where an outsider like Mike Lindell, who understands deviations, who is a solid businessman, who has been attacked by our own federal government, but also by the state government for the Lindell Recovery Network, LINDELLTV, My Pillow, etc. And so this man, Mike Lindell, has stood the test of time and can actually get a louder voice out there through great media like Lindell TV, but other media markets out there as well. And so this is where Mike's voice, his intelligence, his charisma, but also his faith will guide him to take corrective action in Minnesota. And what's incredible is we just had an event this past Wednesday up in Princeton, Minnesota. It was only supposed to go to 5 to 9. It was actually incredible. It did not end until well after midnight because the audience was so engaged. The pastoral staff was even asking questions and they were running around helping people ask questions of Mike. And the amount of detail and knowledge that Mike has of what is going on and where the corruption is, but also how to create plug-in solutions to fix the issues facing everyday Minnesotans right on day one is absolutely incredible.
Right, Mike's been through it. He gets it. He understands the corruption. And do the people though, Rick, do they understand? Do the people of Minnesota understand how important this election is?
They do. And they see it. They see it in their wallets, with Minnesota being the highest tax state. They see it in the companies that are fleeing Minnesota with the highest corporate tax rate. They see it with the Democrats continually attacking their gun rights. They see it with the Democrats proposing increasing their license and tab fees, increasing another fifth class of taxation in Minnesota. I think the good Minnesotans, the voters, have had enough of the Democrat Party. They want common sense restored. They know that boys should be playing boys' sports. Girls need to be protected and playing in girls' sports. And girls' scholarships need to be protected so that way girls can advance in society and have safe spaces to where they can actually excel in areas where God has basically pushed them into, especially in areas of science, technology, news, reporting, teaching, all of those gift areas that a lot of women have that unfortunately these males are coming in and invading their spaces and taking away those scholarships. That has to end.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. So much corruption and cleanup to be done there in Minnesota. I get asked almost daily, Rick, how is Mike doing in the campaign? And I want to hear straight from you because I can tell them what I've heard, maybe a couple of weeks ago. But the latest polling that's out, the newest numbers, I know Mike's been holding and hosting town halls throughout the state. He has one tonight as well. What is it looking like for Mike?
It's looking really good. And so, if you look at just the polling within the party itself, he's consistently between second and third place. And when you go out into the public and actually do the polling for people who would vote in the primary, he's number one. He's got the name recognition. He has the campaign out there. We have signs going out throughout Minnesota. We have the team that is continually growing across the state. And it is absolutely incredible. And the events, they are phenomenal. So just this past Saturday, he had 3 events. He hit 2 congressional districts, and then we had a rally after one of the congressional districts. When he went and spoke to both of the congressional districts, the people were on the edge of their seat. Now, albeit it was a 10-minute speech, and so it was pretty short. But at the rally, it was an hour-and-a-half speech, and he had people at the edge of their seats. This was our election integrity platform plan, and delegates and the public were invited to come in and actually see how would Mike actually protect the elections. Well, here's what was interesting. During Mike's presentation, he had people at the edge of their seats and literally rolling. And if you're from Minnesota, it was kind of experiencing a Jesse Ventura moment with Chris Farley being merged into one. He had people at the edge of their seats with the stories about Trump and some of the situations that he found himself in, where it turned out to be miracles, where he was able to deliver these wonderful speeches in the Rose Garden, at the White House, and the opportunities for Mike to be at this point in history, to be able to deliver these speeches, but to be able to uh, mentor Trump and also Trump mentoring Mike as well and sharing some of those stories are really give a perspective of who Mike is. And it is absolutely amazing. And people are connecting with Mike. And when some of the folks were previous, say, Demuth or Kendall Quall supporters, they come out and just go, Mike has the it factor. He understands what's going on. And I believe in him because of his past experiences and because of what he has overcome politically in Minnesota and the nation. And so that positivity packed with the solutions and the knowledge that Mike has, it's a dangerous weapon that thankfully we have on our side to win in this crazy political environment that we find ourselves in Minnesota. And so I continue to see the financing of Mike increase. And as a matter of fact, during the last campaign finance report, the Lindell campaign outraised the next 5 candidates combined. Now, some candidates actually complained and said, well, Mike doesn't really have that much money left. They only had $40,000 left in their bank account. Well, that's because we're actually running a real campaign. We've already identified 1.2 million voters through text messaging. We've already sent out books to voters across the state. We already have signs printed for the primary election and have a distribution network already out there. The other campaigns can't make those claims at all.
Good news to report this morning. Love to hear it, Rick. So, when it comes to voter turnout, do we think that's going to be huge? I know some primaries in several states have already occurred. We're seeing some huge turnout in other states and other counties across the country. We're not seeing as much as a voter turnout that we would like. What is the goal to make sure people get out to vote?
Well, the goal is to really talk to voters. And so, with us getting Mike Lindell's book out there, where the very nature of the book, when you open up the inside cover of the book and you see who the book is dedicated to, it says, I dedicate this book to those who are looking for hope. Well, that's an easy voter turnout request because anybody who's looking for hope and a new type of Minnesota that actually gets back to common sense, this is the campaign for you. And when you understand what makes Mike Mike, you will appreciate that he will stand for you And I think that will drive voter turnout. And I think the Democrats are actually helping us drive voter turnout, especially with the bad bills that they're producing in the legislature. So I can't wait for August 11th, the primary in Minnesota, to be able to see. I think it's going to be a huge turnout, especially during the last election when 250,000 Trump voters sat out in the general election of 2022. I think we're going to get a majority of those voters back. But the younger generation, there was an additional 400,000 voters that voted for Trump that didn't vote in 2022 that were new voters in 2024 combined with the 250,000. So this gives us a huge pool to really launch in the primary election of conservative Trump voters and people who are just normal voters who want common sense restored back to Minnesota politics.
Absolutely. And so when it comes to Mike Lindell's goals for Minnesota, it's been a while since we've talked to you, Rick, and had you on the show, but I want to update our viewers on some of Mike Lindell's plans. I know one of them has to do with small businesses and taxes. I'm not sure if we've talked about that yet here on the morning show. So what can you tell us about that?
Oh, it's actually incredible. And so I don't know if people probably remember Mall of America. And so one of the great things that Minnesota has is it has no tax on food and no tax on clothing, which brings a lot of neighboring states and Canadians down to Mall of America to shop for clothing, especially. Well, Mike has a new plan to basically reinstill the small business owner and the small shops. But Mall of America is deteriorating right now because of the high taxes. What he wants to do is eliminate the in person, in store retail sales tax. This will create such a boon for the entire retail industry that it will actually save money for Minnesotans, but other folks from around the country will want to come back to Minnesota and do their shopping. So imagine no tax on electronics, no tax on collectibles, no tax on jewelry. This is going to bring such a resurgence in jobs back to small town America in Minnesota and the Mall of America, and even those malls that have been suffering under Democrat control and the high sales taxes that have just been exploding in Minnesota. This will stop that and it will bring business back. The other thing that Mike wants to do is restore the Minnesota flag back to its original flag. Then we also want to ban Sharia law. We also want to find that crazy little satanic statue, find it and burn it and get it out of the Capitol. And just, we don't, and Mike talks about, well, you have to be fair to the devil. People are commenting to him. He's like, are you kidding me? We don't have to be fair to the devil. Get him out of here.
Absolutely. Get it out of here. Great ideas, of course, coming from Mike Lindell and his plans for Minnesota. But, Rick, again, to kind of cap things off here, Minnesota is in a decline. It's in bad shape, and it's only going to get worse if a Democrat, I hate to even think that it would happen, stay in office. Governor Walz, Ellison, they have just destroyed that state. And so the people there, they have to have hope. Like you mentioned in Mike's book and the forward of his book, he's always, pushing for, if you don't have hope, what do you have? And so there is hope for Minnesota. Mike Lindell is bringing that to the citizens. Thank God. So I just hope that these people in Minnesota will get out and vote and make sure that their voices are heard for change. Because if you don't vote, you can't complain. We have his website up right now. Talk to us about his website, how people can get involved. I know, obviously, looking for donations, but also volunteers. What exactly are we looking for right now in the campaign?
Oh, so we are always looking for volunteers to help us door knock, to start putting literature up, to help promote more of the books and dropping those off. But also, we are starting to set up various committees to really do a deep dive into the issues. And we are trying to make sure that on day one, Mike is ready to implement the clearinghouse plan to fix Minnesota at all levels. And so we want to have plug in solutions available for every single area of government. All 24 of the commissioners are going to be top level folks. And we are going to be looking at First, the grassroots of the Republican Party to look for commissioners and other appointees, that's going to be coming soon. But those of you who don't live in the state, please donate to MikeLindellGov.com because it helps us get the message out through campaign signs, through letters, through the books, but also the rallies that we want to connect with voters directly, and also the Zoom town halls that we will be conducting as well. And so everything matters. This is a national campaign. And when it comes to election integrity, follow our campaign because we will give you the tips and tricks to make sure that the people's vote is protected. And that's a number one priority of the Lindell campaign, is that we are going to make sure that all election laws are followed. And we're also going to make sure that they're properly overseeing the voting equipment to make sure that all the logic and accuracy tests are accurate. We're going to make sure that the cast vote records are a match. And we're going to make sure that the post-election audits of the paper ballots are exact as well. And so if there's any issues whatsoever, of course, we'll be asking for an immediate hand recount of any election, since Mike will have standing in every single precinct in the state of Minnesota during the primary election, and hopefully with Minnesota support in the general election.
I'll tell you right now, if there's anyone who is going to make sure that those elections are secure, it's Mike Lindell. Believe that, because that is what he stands for, secure elections. Real quick, Rick, I know the Minnesota State Convention is coming up. What can we look forward to there?
Oh, I love how we just dovetailed into election integrity. You can't actually believe this. So on May 30th is the convention part where the governor is selected. I kid you not. Even the Republican Party states in its platform that we want to vote on paper ballots. However, they spent $40,000 on a clicker system to actually conduct the election within the actual state convention. So, of course, Mike Lindell is against that. It is not transparent. We haven't seen the source code. And this is just absolutely an abomination. We have plenty of alternates that will be there at the state convention that we could utilize them to volunteer to actually hand count the votes there for all of the endorsing part of the convention, including the previous day for U.S. Senate and some of the other constitutional officers. And so stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, the Republican Party has created a pay-to-play system where candidates have had to pay an enormous amount of money to be able to participate and speak at the event. And to top it all off, the delegates are required to pay $200 just to attend this convention. And at the start of basically a holiday season, this makes it really unaffordable for many of the delegates and alternates. So you could be spending anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to attend a convention. This is just not Minnesotan, and this is absolutely a poll tax. And so this is why we are looking at the Republican Party and saying, look, we think that this is unfair. You didn't create another pathway for people who are currently struggling right now through whatever is happening in their life. And that happens with most of us throughout our lives, that we will have periods of time where we just can't pull the trigger. Well, they didn't create another off ramp to allow somebody who couldn't afford it right now to still attend. And so with that, this is why we're going directly to the primary, where there is no poll tax. We would still like the endorsement, and we still hope for the endorsement, but because not every single delegate is going to be there, that creates a problem for us.
Wow. Great plans. You're staying ahead of the game. You know, Mike Lindell and the president are great friends. And I always tell people that President Trump is 10 steps ahead of everyone. And Mike Lindell is the same as well. So no matter what's thrown at him, he's ready to handle it in the best fashion. Rick, one more time, the website people can go to. I want people to go and follow Mike and his campaign, MikeLindellGov.com. Donate, sign up to volunteer, get involved, save Minnesota. It can be done. And if anyone can do it, it is Mike Lindell. Rick, so proud of you and all the work that you're doing. Thanks for helping Mike out and being a wonderful campaign manager for him. You are a true blessing. I know you have a busy day planned, a big town hall tonight. So good luck to y'all. Keep us posted on how that goes.
Well, thank you so much. And I also want to point out, part of the success of Mike Lindell is the talent that he has surrounded himself in Lindell TV. We should be proud of the fact that Lindell TV is one of the rare networks that has a position, a reporter at the Department of Defense, the White House, and then also kind of the press conference room as well. And so with that rarity and that success, it is amazing that he started from nothing with Lindell TV and grows it into an actual real news network where people can get honest reporting. So thank you guys so much. Keep up the great work.
We appreciate you, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a new congressional map into law. The newly approved map redraws 21 of Florida's 28 congressional districts and is projected to give Republicans a significant advantage, potentially flipping up to 4 Democratic-held seats. Look at that. All red, barely any sign of blue. Key battleground regions, including Orlando, Tampa Bay, and South Florida, are seeing major changes, with some Democratic strongholds split apart, others consolidated. Governor DeSantis is defending the maps against critics, saying the move reflects population growth, especially after the U.S. Supreme Court's decision weakening parts of the Voting Rights Act, which has opened the door for more aggressive redistricting nationwide. So meanwhile, the Supreme Court has immediately issued its judgment, striking down Louisiana's congressional map as a racial gerrymander. At the center of the case, Louisiana's current map, which includes 2 majority Black districts out of 6. Challengers claim the districts were drawn primarily on race, raising constitutional concerns. This is opening the door for a lot of southern states, including Alabama, which is also redrawing its maps. All states in a hurry to get it done by the midterms. Now to Washington, a dramatic and fast-moving security scare unfolding just steps away from the White House. In case you missed it, Secret Service agents opened fire on an armed suspect in broad daylight, triggering a lockdown at the White House and sending reporters scrambling for cover. It all happened near 15th Street and Independence Avenue, just blocks from the White House and near the National Mall. According to the Secret Service, plainclothes agents spotted a suspicious person who appeared to be carrying a firearm. So when officers approached him, the man ran, then turned and opened fire on agents. Secret Service personnel returned fire, striking the suspect, who remains hospitalized.
Approximately 3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual, it's a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital.
Again, a juvenile bystander was hit during the gunfire. Officials say that person is expected to be okay. No Secret Service agents were injured. The president was inside the White House at the time. He was hosting a small business summit. It was uninterrupted. This week is National Small Business Week. There are 38 million small businesses in America. And since taking office, the Trump administration has provided small businesses tax relief through the Working Families Tax Cuts Act and record-breaking SBA support.
Let me begin by saying congratulations to the small business people of the year from all 50 states. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and you can be proud of yourself. Our country is made up of a lot of small businesses, and that ends up being a really big business. As small business owners and operators, the people in this room represent the 36 million small businesses who create 40% of all economic activity in the United States. Think of that. A group of people added together. You're essentially the most important factor business-wise in the whole country. And this country is leading the whole world. We are now. That I can tell you by a lot. You're the lifeblood of the American economy, and with your help, We're truly making America great again. We're doing record business.
When it comes to small businesses, hiring is up, investment is surging, and businesses are optimistic once again. And right in the middle of it all yesterday was a man who is no stranger to success, Rick Harrison. You know him for his reality show out of Las Vegas, Pawn Stars.
I just want to say he's amazing. He's done so much. I mean, so much for all of us. I mean, the backbone of this country is small business, plain and simple. And the last guy in office, all we heard was that we were the evil people, we were the bad people, everything else like that. We don't pay our fair share, whatever that's supposed to be. And he made it tough. And this guy, the big beautiful bill, absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? God bless you for letting me get 100% depreciation. It really helps out. All I can say is this is literally, I mean, I'm a history buff and I know a lot about this White House thing and everything. Literally, he's going to go down as maybe the best president ever. I love this guy.
And in the halls of the White House, small businesses set up tables and booths. President Trump did some greeting and some shopping, supporting the businesses that were set up there. There's also a major move out of Washington targeting the backbone of America's food supply, with the Trump administration launching sweeping crackdowns on the U.S. agriculture industry. AG Secretary Brooke Rollins and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announcing a new federal investigation into the nation's powerful meat packing sector, raising concerns about competition, food prices, and even national security.
Todd, Peter, and I each serve the American public in different capacities across the executive branch at the pleasure of our boss, President Donald Trump. But we are united by a single mission to protect our great American farmers and ranchers, the American way of life, and the American consumer. President Trump has been the greatest champion in American history for our farmers and ranchers, from record-breaking investments in rural America through the Working Families tax cuts to opening up the global market, now 18 new trade deals for our incredible American ag products, and to most recently implementing a plan to fortify the American beef industry. And these efforts couldn't be more timely for America's ranchers, who are seeing a historic low herd size.
And what's scary is that America's beef cattle, the herd, is at its lowest level since the 1950s. That's the lowest in 75 years. Here's more.
Let's begin with the herd size. As of January 1st of this year, we have about 86.2 million head of cattle and calves in America. That is the lowest since the 1950s, and this year we're looking to be slightly down again. In the past decade alone, we've lost over 17% of our cattle ranchers. More than 100,000 ranches across this country are no more. The low herd size inherited by the Trump administration can be attributed to a variety of factors. The biggest one, at least from our perspective, is the radical left's ongoing assault against ranching as a way of life. For years, they used climate alarmism to wage a war on cattle in America. And when you pair that with droughts, wildfire, overregulation from previous administrations, and volatile markets, this is how we have ended up here today.
And beef supply is tight and shrinking. Experts say herd rebuilding isn't happening yet, meaning shortages will continue. The USDA and DOJ are also cracking down on anti-competitive behavior across ag, from meat packing to inputs like seed and fertilizer. And officials say this is just the beginning.
Today we are here to talk about our progress here at the Justice Department to hold meat packers accountable. As you all know, last November, the President tasked the department to investigate the costs and prices of beef. As a result, we prioritized investigating potential antitrust violations in U.S. cattle and beef markets. In the beef industry, the big four processors control over 85% of the beef processing market. Two of the big four are primarily foreign-owned. Multiple plant closures across the country, the current market structure, and high concentration in the industry indicate anti-competitive activity. Since the President's executive order, the Department has been actively investigating with a review of over 3 million documents. Hundreds of industry participants, including ranchers, cattlemen, producers, and processors, have been contacted and many interviewed as part of this ongoing investigation. More broadly, the Department has also executed on the President's executive order to stop anti-competitive behavior in the broader food supply market. Later this week, we will be announcing an historic settlement that will directly affect the prices of proteins like chicken, pork, and turkey. This business model allows competitors to exchange competitively sensitive information on every aspect of the protein industry and has raised the prices on chicken, raised the prices on pork, and raised the prices on turkey. The Department is also working closely with Secretary Rollins and the Department of Agriculture. We've signed a memorandum of understanding that allows us to share information aimed at protecting competition in agricultural inputs like seeds and fertilizer. But there is more work to do, and we need your help. I want to remind everyone and anyone in the industry that if you have information about antitrust crimes, about price fixing, bid rigging, market allocation, or even procurement fraud, the Department of Justice wants to hear from you.
Blanche revealing a potential historic settlement coming later this week. Again, like he just mentioned, this could impact chicken, pork, and turkey markets nationwide. More to come here on My Mornings. It's been 2 weeks since the assassination attempt at the D.C. Hilton. Top members of Congress were in attendance. We sit down with Indiana Congressman Marlin Stutzman, who recalls those frightening moments. That's coming up next. But first, more on Small Business Week here in America, the backbone of our country.
Hi, I'm Kelly Loeffler. It is my honor to serve as the 28th Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. As the member of President Trump's cabinet who represents our great nation's job creators, welcome to National Small Business Week 2026. This year is particularly historic as we celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary. That's 250 years of free enterprise that built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation in the world. American exceptionalism was forged by hardworking founders just like you, those who build, innovate, and sacrifice to create generational strength. And today, under the leadership of President Trump, that legacy continues. Through tax cuts, fair trade, and deregulation, the Trump administration is proud to support growth, job creation, and opportunity that you power across main streets, cities, and rural America. At the SBA, we provide the capital, counseling, and deregulation that is driving the great American comeback. We invite you to take this week as an opportunity to learn more about the many ways that SBA can help support your journey. So on behalf of myself and our entire SBA team, happy National Small Business Week.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice, speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Shots fired, people scattering, the fear of the unknown when Secret Service rushes in with guns drawn. Is there one gunman? Are there multiple gunmen? That was the moments at the White House Correspondents' Dinner 2 weeks ago. Our Allison Steinberg sits down with Indiana Representative MARLIN STUTZMAN to talk about the scare during those moments.
Hello everyone, Allison Steinberg here with LINDELLTV. We are with Congressman MARLIN STUTZMAN, who represents Indiana's 3rd Congressional District. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Great to be with you, Allison.
Well, I want to start off with what is the talk of the town currently here in D.C. and across the nation, really, and that is the latest assassination attempt on the president and his cabinet at the White House Correspondents' Association dinner. You were actually there, as was I. In fact, I saw you running right past me as I was ducking for cover.
I should have grabbed you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
It was a very crazy moment for all of us. But just tell us, like, a recount of what that was like for you. Give us an overview of what you experienced.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it kind of started out on the street. When we were walking in, it was raining just a little bit. But I noticed that the protesters, they were just so nasty. And some of the signs were like, you know, death to the tyrant and death to, you know, all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. I've not seen that level of, you know, vitriol from the protesters. Protesters used to that, but there was just a different level. They were yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
And then once we got through the different perimeters, I just noticed that the security was really easy. I mean, I even got my ticket here. It was just this. I mean, it was just like, we just flashed that, and that was it. And that got us right in. No checking of names or anything like that. And then once we went through the metal detectors, I just noticed that it just seemed like it was really easy for everybody to get through. We went in, sat down. After the color guard left and the national anthem, we all sat down and just started eating salad. And I was talking to the lady next to me whose family was from Ukraine. And we were talking about how she was, I mean, here she's in the press, and she said, it's amazing that we can approach our leaders so easily.
Oh, wow.
And all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. I mean, 4 loud shots.
Yeah.
About 50 feet over my left shoulder at the main doors. And immediately we knew there was gunshots. And we just all hit the deck, and everybody climbed under our table. Dishes were falling off, drinks were spilling, you know, plates were crashing on the floor. And but it was just a moment of silence. And I think in that moment, you know, even though you have Republicans, Democrats, liberal, conservative, most everybody at that moment was all like together.
Yeah.
And what's the danger that's facing us? And of course, you immediately think about those around you. And then after just a bit, I mean, it seemed like a long time, but just probably a couple of moments, I noticed some others were standing up. People were starting to walk back that way. And I was even telling like Steve Scalise and Pete Hegseth, I was like, the shots were coming from that door. Mm-hmm. But later, those were probably Secret Service shots that were ringing out. But we didn't know which way the bullets were going. You know, were they coming inside the ballroom? And so it was quite an intense moment. And glad you're safe. Glad everyone else was safe.
Yeah.
It was, you know, a story that we'll tell our grandkids that, you know, again, I mean, I remember hearing the story of Ronald Reagan, how he was shot at the Hilton Hotel here in Washington. And here we were there to experience President Trump's another attempt on his life.
Yeah. It's so sad that we've reached this point where there's so much hatred, so much division in the nation. And to your point, it was a rare moment of unity amongst all political factions to be there, to be present during that assassination attempt. I think it's safe to say that a lot of the leftist media that was in that room is probably responsible for stoking a lot of this hate and division.
Yeah.
Certainly many of the politicians as well. I think they got a little taste of what it's like to be a conservative in today's day and age. And
I
it's
hope
not
so.
easy, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we were starting to list off the names of who has had assassination attempts or been attacked. You know, obviously Ronald Reagan was shot at there. I mean, this is just since the 80s. But then you have, of course, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Rand Paul was attacked and was at the baseball field when the assassin shot at Steve Scalise, who was hit, and other staffers who were hit there. And then, of course, President Trump has had multiple assassination attempts. So the bullets have been flying from one direction.
Yeah.
And that's something that I hope those people, the leftist media in that room, felt the vulnerability in that moment and realized, like, why is this happening? And we don't want this to happen again. Yeah. And I hope that that's something that they take away, because it seems like it's only getting worse. Yeah. And I pray that this country gets its bearings together really fast on the left.
I certainly hope so, but it certainly doesn't help when you have, the leader within the Democrat Party, Hakeem Jeffries, saying things like, I have his quote here, we are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere, all the time. Since then, he's even doubled down on the commentary, calling on the people to fight the Trump agenda in the streets. Yeah. I mean, Caroline Leavitt highlighted this during a press briefing on Monday. He's now called her a stone-cold liar. I mean, is it appropriate for any member of Congress to speak this way, and what does this mean for our nation?
Well, I know that there's times when we're speaking and we use these phrases that have a warfare meaning to them. But you know what? When these happen, we need to be more careful with our words, because just like this guy, he apparently was online a lot. He was in the video games space. Remember the 8647? That was another one. It's like a teacher from northern Indiana posed in front of the White House with a T-shirt that said 8647 on it, and that meant to kill the president. Yeah. I mean, this is a teacher, and if they're talking to our kids in northern Indiana, which is a very conservative area, how wrong is that? And so if it's happening at the high levels with Hakeem Jeffries, I mean, Maxine Waters, she's another one that is saying things that are just extreme. Yeah. And so I know we talk about the fight in the political arena, but we have to realize that there is a line that people can cross. And obviously when people take action and take what they say and act on it, that's the line, and we have to stop that.
Yeah, the rhetoric spewed by the Democrats certainly does have consequences, and I think we've seen that demonstrated multiple times. So hopefully that changes soon. I mean, Representative Andy Ogles, said he heard a reporter at the dinner that said, I hope they kill the orange MF. This is a reporter in the room at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So that's like this place in which we're at currently in this country.
I heard multiple stories like that
from
other people who heard other people in the room saying, I hope no one dies except for President Trump.
Wow. It just really makes me sick. It's so sad that we've reached this point, and we need some serious reform here.
Yeah.
Yes, we do need serious reform. The suspected gunman remains in federal custody. The Secret Service agent shot that night is said to be doing well. More to come here on My Morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And a reminder, you can follow me on social media. I am on Vocal, X, Truth Social, Instagram, and YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have new videos posted there daily. We'll be right back.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Well, hello everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell.
Let's see how the markets are opening today. Looking at opening bell numbers from MarketWatch.com. A lot of good sites there with the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. Investors are weighing economic uncertainty, interest rate expectations, ongoing pressure in key sectors. There are expectations the Fed could hold rates higher for longer, a move that has kept pressure on stocks in recent sessions. Meanwhile, Tech remains a key driver after a strong run earlier this year, so looking good today. A good bounce back from yesterday over on Wall Street. As we head into Mother's Day weekend, First Lady Melania Trump is honoring military mothers. A celebration will be held tomorrow at the White House. Military mothers and their guests are invited, and we will have coverage of that for you right here on Lindell TV. Taking a look at the president's schedule today at 8 o'clock this morning, he held an executive meeting. At 10:30, he will sign a proclamation. At noon, he will hold a policy meeting. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, he will participate in a Rose Garden Club dinner in the Rose Garden. And to note, at 3 o'clock this afternoon, there will be a press briefing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be holding that meeting as Caroline Leavitt is on maternity leave. This will be a good one. Can't wait to watch Rubio take on the press. Again, that's at 3 o'clock Eastern. Just announced, Grammy Award-winning artist Chris Tomlin will headline Rededicate 250 in Washington, D.C. On May 17th at 8 a.m., our nation will rededicate our country to God on the National Mall, and he is the headliner for that event. For more news of the day, you can log on to LindellTV.com. And don't forget, you can always download the Lindell TV app. Now to our Bible verse of the day coming from the book of Peter. The Bible says, "But know this, first of all, that no prophecy of Scripture is a matter of one's own interpretation. For no prophecy was ever made by an act of human will, but men moved by the Holy Spirit spoke from God." And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. We leave you today with sights from Alabama.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From Lindell TV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
Too many pharmacies and insurance companies are blocking the medications that actually work. That's why I recommend All Family Pharmacy. They give you access to treatments like ivermectin now, starting at just $2 a capsule. They also have methylene blue, hydroxychloroquine, and so much more. They're helping you stay prepared, and they've dropped their prices by 25%. Also use promo code Lindell10, you save even more. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use promo code Lindell10 and get the medicine you need.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.